And welcome to the Comic Corner. My name is Damon. I am your host. What we do here is comic book news, reviews, and interviews. And today I have my two friends, starting out with my buddy all the way across the ocean, AF. How are you doing this evening?
Dude, I am doing fantastic. I'm doing great. It is nighttime, as
Mhm.
you can see. The clocks have shifted, so yeah, no light in the background.
No light.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. So yeah, if you haven't noticed since starting last week, at least until the end of Creature Commandos, our live reaction show here on the Agents of Fandom channel, is Agents of Fandom channel is out on Thursdays, live noon Eastern every Thursday. So that means we are coming out on Fridays until that ends, and that show is a lot of fun. AF, I can't wait for you to be able to watch it because I feel like you'll really enjoy it. It is very James Gunn. And TJ, it is not like 7 a.m. where you are this time, at least. So you're at least enjoying halfway through your day.
I know, man. Noon. It's crazy. It might as well be nighttime. But yeah, man, it's good. I like the later time. I'm usually an early riser myself, but it was
Yeah, you
nice to
are.
have it was nice to have some time to catch up before the show today. We talked before. I've missed out on a good couple weeks of books, so I have been massively catching up on everything. So it's been nice, man. I'm excited to talk to y'all today.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. You were like freaking out, like, oh, I'm not caught up. And I'm like, yeah, you got time. This is our new schedule
Yeah,
until
I
Creature
woke up at
Commandos
6
ends. We
a.m. and
record
I was
literally.
like, what time are we going on? Like, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be late.
In the end, it's all good, all
All
good.
worked out.
So let's talk about our comics for the week. We got a lot of them. We got 10 comics. We'll fly through them as fast and as efficient and as snappy as possible. But here's the big one: the Ultimate 1 Year in Special. Oh boy. Yes, that is Nick Fury on the cover. And yes, it gets pretty dark. Now we're cooking. Ultimate X-Men, from one Ultimate book to another Ultimate book. Ultimate X-Men number 10 came out this week. And this is the issue I've really been waiting for. And it delivered. Now we're cooking. And sticking with Marvel, 3 Marvel books on our rundown. How about that, TJ? Look what you've done to us. Release of Storm. Storm number 3 came
Sorry.
out this week. Very exciting. But as we mentioned last week, that's if you got your comics, because delays again from Diamond. And we were more disappointed last week. If you were a part of that conversation, I don't know if it's affects you across the pond, but it's been an issue here. The last 3 weeks, essentially, they closed down one of their warehouses, and it's caused some massive delays for a lot of local comic shops who use Diamonds. And fortunately for some, like mine, I'm very lucky. My local comic shop, he goes directly through the main providers, so like Penguin Random House for Marvel and Lunar for DC. However, there are some exclusive publishers that are directly through Diamond. And yeah, I didn't get my books this week that were supposed to be coming out this week from Diamond Distributors. I did, and a lot of people didn't. And that's my shop. I'm lucky with my shop. Some shops here in the state just do everything through Diamond, or at least as much as they can through Diamond. And they're screwed. They're straight up screwed because of it. This is now 3 weeks. They're supposed to be getting their books in. This episode is releasing on a Friday, so they're supposed to be getting their books in today. Hopefully, allegedly, it's getting absurd. And more importantly, this is not just hurting like the fans, like us, the readers. This is severely hurting the shops. Like this is killing shops, to put
And
it like bluntly.
they already find it tough as it is. So I
Yeah,
mean, there's basically double downs on everything that they can currently feeling.
no, it does. And Diamond's put out like, oh, okay, we're gonna do this and this and this going forward, but it's like, at what point, right? So here's my plea to shops who are dealing with this: please start going through other providers, like your Penguin Random House from Marvel and Lunar for DC, if you're not already. Because like, it's very clear that Diamond is just so inconsistent that it's not only probably hurting the shops themselves, as we already mentioned, but also hurting the readers, the fans, the people who have a pull list at the shops. It's unacceptable. It is infuriating. TJ, I know you got your books this week, so it's not fully. Yeah, you got lucky.
Yeah, I got really lucky because the shop didn't get them the previous week. So not only did they get this week's books, but they got last week's as well. So I don't know how that worked out, how they squeaked by, but I'm thankful they did. I'll tell you that.
And I'll say this as well: more publishers, because of this, are leaving Diamond. Diamond used to be the pinnacle of it. They're more leaving, including Boom, who was just bought this past year from Penguin Random House. So it's not a shock that Penguin's going to be distributing their books alongside with Marvel, but that's good because hopefully that means there's more consistency in getting your books from Boom, because I like our Boom. Like, we love our Boom books. But if I can't get them, like, I didn't get my book from Minor Arcana this week at a local comic shop. Fortunately, we were still able to read a review copy of it. We'll talk about it. But I wasn't able to get my book this week. I just got the 3rd issue, which came out like almost a month ago. It's hair-pulling, infuriating, disappointing, and straight up unacceptable. We've now talked about this for 2 straight weeks. If this is an issue again next week,
over. It's over with. We're going on strike.
I
I don't know if strike is the right word. We'll do something. We're going to organize.
do something.
Yeah, we're going to
raise
organize.
our fists angrily again. It's crazy. It's unacceptable. If anyone who's watching, if you've been experiencing problems, let us know in the comments as well, because I really want to know how much of a national issue this is. Because last week it was absolutely a national issue. This week seems more like it was mostly regional, but it still seems to be a problem. So let us know, because I am curious how much this has affected people. All right, let's be positive. That's what we usually do. I don't like the rant. I don't like to do any of that, but we have to at times. So let's talk about a book that came out this week that I was very excited for. TJ, I know you're very excited for. AF, when you finally get your hands on this, I know you're going to love this. This is Ultimate Universe 1 Year In. This is kind of like, literally, it's exactly as it's written. This is 1 year into the Ultimate Universe. This is told from the perspective of Nick Fury. Yes, the original Nick Fury. But there's a twist, and I don't want to go too deep into spoilers on this one, because there's some really cool reveals in here, especially with Nick Fury towards the end. But essentially, Nick Fury doesn't work for S.H.I.E.L.D. He works for the Hand, and the Hand is run and organized by the Maker to kind of be their assassins in the sky, if you will, of someone starting to think negatively towards the Maker or in favor of this new rebel team, the Ultimates. They will be eliminated. It doesn't matter who you are. You could be some average Joe Schmo who's had a flawless record your entire life, nothing but good, and you're gone. If you think about going with the Ultimates and even just being like, maybe they have a point, you're gone. So that follows this Nick Fury. TJ, what did you think of this issue? And we'll talk about the Wolverine stuff after.
Okay, I'll save that then. But love it. Absolutely loved it. Perfect kind of a recap of the year, but not really. Yeah. And I really felt like this, including the last Ultimates issue, which I also just read, I feel like the world is starting to come together more. Like, we're seeing glimpses of, how, so-and-so is involved. And, I just feel like everything's kind of coming together, and it makes me so excited for this next year, because I think everything is ramping up. But I mean, it was just so good. Denise Camp is just amazing. I have so many theories. There was definitely a lot of little things here and there that I'm like, ooh, So, I mean, we're in store for some really, really good stuff. I have one, but I don't know if I should say it if it's like too spoilery.
We'll talk about it a little bit after because I want to bring up
Okay.
next the Wolverine factor of it
Yes.
all. Because yes, this issue does include the first appearance of Ultimate Wolverine. Everyone got excited. I don't care about speculation or anything. I care more about the story of it all. And it's a very interesting start to that story because at New York Comic Con, when they revealed that they were doing Ultimate Wolverine, and then they also revealed that Ultimate Wolverine would be making his first appearance in this issue, they laid out a little thing that was like, maybe it's not Logan. Well, it is Logan. So
Yep.
they
Confirmed.
got me thinking too hard on it, unless if it's a double bait and switch type of thing. But yeah, what if Logan? What if Wolverine? What if
What if?
he was the Winter Soldier? There you go. That's it. That's the bit, and I'm in on it. I think that's cool. TJ, what did you think about the Wolverine bit?
I loved it, obviously, because I mean, it's like we all knew, right? But honestly, I think you were the one, we talked about this on the show, but the idea of it being Bucky, I thought was really cool. Even though like it would be like, oh, Bucky's like still the Winter Soldier, kind of too similar. I don't know. I just thought that would have been really cool and like a real cool like surprise. But I mean, I'm not mad that it's Logan. It's, you know, obviously, it's going to be so cool. I cannot wait to discover more of what he's been doing, what's he gonna be doing. Because I mean, it seems like straight up villain role. I mean, at least for now. So
Brainwashed, but yeah.
So it's gonna be so cool, dude. I can't.
I was on team. I thought it was going to be Wade Wilson for a hot second, just because you have the regeneration aspect of it all. Too. And that seemed like if it was going to be anyone else, we already have Deadpool Wolverine movie out. You might as well just like go full in on like Deadpool is Wolverine type of bit. But no, he's Logan. And that's it. So I thought this was a pretty cool issue. Yeah, you get a nice little cameo from Howard the Duck in here. So that's fun. And you really get to see the power struggle and dynamics amongst all of the Maker's little lackeys who have really tried to take over and get a little power hungry and stuff between all of their territories. So very interesting dynamic indeed. TJ, I'll let you give me your theory right now. I'm curious. What you got?
Okay, so I don't think this is like a huge spoiler. I'll try to keep it like kind of vague. But I think that kid's gonna be Falcon, the kid hooked up to the IV. Am I crazy or what?
Well, they definitely teased
the Falcon for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. Yeah. I'm thinking that kid's gonna be the Falcon. So that's my little.
You're not talking about DaCosta's kid, are you?
Yes.
You're talking about the kid who's actually Sunspot. You think Sunspot's gonna be Falcon?
That's Sunspot, dude. I didn't even put that together.
that's Sunspot. His dad is literally ciphering his powers.
Either way, I think he's the mole, though. I think how they kind of bring up this idea that there's a mole within the whatever secret society. I think it's him. So I'm switching my Falcon theory that he's the mole, but Falcon is coming for sure.
They definitely teased it. And I'm curious, who could it be? AF, I'm excited for you to really dive headfirst into this Ultimate Universe because it's very cool.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I saw the variant cover for this book, and that was the Wolverine variant cover done by Alessandro Capaccio. And it was actually based on the old school Weapon X cover. So that was really cool to see it. Like, it looked so perfect to me. TJ, I don't know if you caught that variant cover, but amazing.
I probably came across it, but I'm not sure which exact one off the top of my head. But that's another thing. I love the design of this Ultimate Wolverine, so I will eat up any variant of that I can get my hands on.
I'm a full-on sucker for any character that kind of has like either a hood or a mask. And this Wolverine, they clearly have like a muzzly type of mask on them, and that is just cool, and it fits that character very, very well. All right, let's keep on that mutant gang from one Wolverine mutant to a bunch of mutants that don't have a Wolverine, and the team we have a lot of mutants in here. This is Ultimate X-Men number 10. This book gets dark. It gets mad dark. TJ, you haven't been able to read this issue yet. No, he
I
is.
literally have 9 and 10 sitting on my nightstand
Okay.
right now. They were next
Okay.
on my list, but I ran out of time.
All right. So this issue, I won't go into full on spoilers, but this issue really pushed the story forward in ways that I've been hoping for. I know there's been some critiques of this run that it may move a little too slow. This issue, traditionally, and how this book has been written, probably had like 4 issues worth of story progression in it in many different facets. So that on its own got me excited because I feel like we're really ramping up to where Peach wants to get to, and I can really start to see like the pieces in play. I can't get into too much spoilers on this, but the darkness of it, not afraid to go there. And you see that in the very first few issues, obviously, with Shadow King and what he makes his classmates do. But that's not all in this entire series. Again, runaway vibes. I am starting to get more of like an X-Men community feel amongst all these kids and how they're rebelling against the children of the Atom, which is like essentially a mutant cult. It's fascinating. It's so different. And I say this every single time we talk about it. This is kind of like the X book that I've been wanting because the current line, not for me, but at least I have this to keep me happy because of how different it is.
Love it. I cannot wait. I loved issue 8. I was really hooked. I mean, I've been hooked on this entire series, but I loved issue 8. So I've been really, and just to hear that it really ramps up in 10, which I like the mystery. Honestly, like, you know, I can understand why people say it's slow, but I've been enjoying it, like kind of peeling back the layers slowly. So I enjoy that. So is this our last Ultimate book on the list?
Yes.
Okay, I want to ask you a question really quickly because I was thinking about this, reading all these Ultimate, like catching up on all the Ultimate stuff. Not necessarily where do you think this is all headed, but like the Ultimate Universe has to come into contact with our main 616 eventually, right? Or do you think no? I'm just curious in your thoughts because I honestly like. Part of me feels like they're going to keep it just separate, but other part of me feels like there's no way there's not going to be in the like Ultimate versus 616 event, like a, you know, Secret Wars-esque type of thing. What do you think?
Let me ask you this.
Not
What's
Secret
one thing
Wars,
Marvel... Hey, I'm going to go that way. What's one thing Marvel
Good.
really loves to do in their comics whenever a movie comes out?
True.
Right?
True.
What movie's coming out in at least a couple years? Right?
MCUification.
Yep.
Exactly. But this doesn't feel completely like full
That's-
wedged in there. If they
Yeah.
time this out well, this will be very well done. Now, we're not getting Secret Wars for a hot minute. I think 2027 at the
Which
earliest.
is about 2.5 years away.
Yeah, but next year they keep having a countdown in this series, and the countdown is essentially a year from now. So that's when the Maker is back, type of thing. They're counting down to when the Maker returns. So I don't know. We'll see where it goes, but yeah, will the two universes collide in some sort of 2027 Secret Wars type of event? Yeah. Probably.
I can't wait to. I'm still like thinking of where we're gonna see the Maker next. Like obviously, like you said, in a year, like at the countdown. But
yeah,
we got to figure out what the hell he's doing in that little globe, man.
He's healing himself essentially.
Yeah, but he's come on, man.
Yeah, he's healing himself and he's building. They mentioned in the Ultimate 1 year in that like a year for him or whatever it is,
like 10,000
for him is like, yeah, it's like 1,000 years or something.
That's what
crazy
I mean,
like
dude.
that. So he's building his army. Meanwhile, like, you know, our heroes, the Ultimates, are building their army. Very clearly not at the same pace. So it's gonna be a fascinating clash of heads. So yeah, Ultimate books. They're the things that are keeping me going in Marvel, but I know it's not the only thing keeping you going, TJ. Storm issue number 3 dropped this week. Tell me about it.
Yes, issue number 3, Storm. I have been loving the From the Ashes stuff. I really enjoy almost all the titles, but this is by far my favorite solo. So like we have Wolverine, Dazzler, Psylocke, Phoenix. I think I might be forgetting one, but this is my favorite for sure. Storm is just such a presence on every single page and just like really shines. They really capture just like, I mean, I'm no Storm expert. I never claim to be, but just like how I think of her, like what's the word, like the elegance and the power and like how she carries herself. It's so good. She's basically like kind of on a mission to just like protect the world, just kind of help everybody. So like, she's doing all these sort of things. But Damon, something that I think would really interest you and you would enjoy is we're now getting into Storm's kind of sorcery and kind of mystical heritage in her history. So she hooks up with Dr. Voodoo in issue 2 and 3, or Brother Voodoo, sorry, not Dr. Voodoo. And it's super cool, man. It's so cool. The power scale is incredible. And yeah, like I said, it's like getting into this whole new side of Storm with like the witch and sorcerer stuff. So yeah, it's definitely keep an eye out for this one. If you're not reading this one, or if you're like, oh, the X books, there's too many of them, blah blah blah, I suggest giving Storm a try.
Well, I'm back on the Marvel Unlimited train, so when these issues start hitting that app, I'll probably be on. I'll give it a try, more or less because I think it's fascinating. Like the title of this, Earth's Mightiest Mutant. She is an Avenger right now,
Yes, she
and I
is.
think that's also a fascinating angle of it as well, especially because you said she is a protector of the Earth. So big scale, big scale.
Art is incredible, like jaw dropping. There's so many pages in it. I'm like, I want this as a poster on my wall. So yeah, it's just good all around.
Yep, writer Ayadele, artist Lucas Wernick, colorist Alex Guimaraes, and letterer Travis Lanham. AF, what you got?
So you just mentioned Marvel Unlimited.
Mm-hmm.
It's available in South Africa now. I guess that girl that we spoke to at New York Comic Con actually put the word in. So shout out to
Let's go.
Cool chick that we ran into at New York Comic Con at the Marvel booth. You actually came through for me. Thank you for that.
Now, my question for you is, do you now have Marvel have the QR codes? See if you can scan those QR codes and it goes to your Marvel Unlimited account, because it should at that point. That'd be great.
Cool. I'm just psyched.
All right. That was our Marvel kick for the day. We had a lot of Marvel books, but now we're on to our DC Green Arrow. This is the start of a new era from Chris Condon, who, as we mentioned, is going to be doing the Wolverine book, the Ultimate Wolverine book. But how's Chris starting out on Green Arrow, sir?
Oh boy. I love this book so much. So I loved Josh Williamson's run, but the tone shift is so different. It's basically like we took a hard left and we just arrived in this gritty, dark crime noir universe, and it is so amazing. This is where Oliver Queen is supposed to be. He's supposed to be in the boardroom. He's supposed to be fighting all of these corporate thugs. And there's a lot of flashbacks in this issue. And we go back to seeing all of these business partners that he's had over the year. And there's a serial killer on the loose, and all of his business partners are getting murdered one by one. So yeah, there's a nice little cliffhanger at the end. But dude, I'm hooked. Montas's art. Wow. Everything just ties together so perfectly in this book, and I cannot say enough good things about it. I am completely hooked in this new run.
You know what I think is just kind of funny about DC right now? Because I feel like it's almost similar to how Nightwing, the run from Tom Taylor, just ended. Dan Waters take over. It's a little darker. Not dark, like dark alley, gritty dark, but it's definitely a change of tone. But I just find it so funny how it's like this change in tone of Dawn of DC from Dawn of DC, sorry, to the All In initiative was
Yeah.
started because Darkseid is dead. That, like, the most evil entity in the galaxy and the whole universe is gone, and now everything is just somehow a little. You can almost imagine it should be a little lighter in tone. Be like, wow, it feels lighter, less heavy. That is not the case.
Yeah, but we know that the culmination of the mainline and the absolute universe, that's going to come together. So earlier, TJ, you spoke about the Marvel side, about those two universes clashing, and we know that eventually that is the end game for DC, to have these two worlds colliding. And I think this is just preparing the reader for whatever hell awaits us.
Ooh.
Probably hell.
Well, speaking of hell, although Darkseid is gone, Doomsday has returned. This is the latest issue of Superman. Actually came out a few weeks ago here for us in the States. But AF, I have this issue. I haven't been able to read it yet. So tell me what happens.
Yeah, so there's if you caught up to issue 19, you'd see that the cliffhanger at the end of that was Superman coming face to face with the Time Trapper, and the Time Trapper revealing himself to be a really, really old and skinny Doomsday. And he's seen everything that's going to happen. He's just traveling through time now, just going around seeing who he can get to help him. But obviously, it's Superman that he wants to help him, because this dude just wants to die now. He's tired of living. He just needs somebody to kill him and be dead for good. So he comes to Superman and he just predicts everything that's going to happen. And Superman's basically like, no, dude, like I'm not going to do what you're asking me to do. It just goes against everything that even though
you see all through time, you know how it all goes. So you go to the one guy that will never kill you. Doomsday.
Yeah.
My guy. What are we doing?
Well, the thing that I like the most about this issue is that we get a lot of chemistry between Superman and Lois, who is now superhuman, and they basically fight Doomsday together. There's a point where they really can't do anything; they just getting their asses handed to them. Supercorp comes in, sending Parasite. Doomsday absolutely obliterates Parasite, like tears Parasite in half. It is brutal.
Is he
And
still
then
alive?
we don't know. I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so. And then we get a
R.I.P.
frame as well. And this basically just goes, it's like a shout out to say that Justice League Unlimited is now a thing. The Justice League is back. We get a frame where Batman is calling in, asking, do you need the League to come in to help? And they're like, no, it's cool. The League should stay like Supercorp has it under control. So I think that was just a bit of a Justice League Unlimited is back. Go pick
In
up that book.
continuity.
And
Yay.
in continuity.
Because that does happen a lot, right? Like, I think I've been like TGI, we read like some like Scarlet Witch runs or whatever, and I'm like, how are the Avengers not here to help? And that, like, like you kind of think about that. So I do appreciate that nugget, probably from either Josh Williams or editorial, to just be like, hey, yeah, we could plug the Justice League Unlimited book, but also be like, we'll just make it known that they got this.
Yeah, for sure. So, and I like that's also continuing the whole Dawn of PC thing, where everything is seemingly connected. So yeah, I like that they're still going that route. But yeah, another thing as well to note down: Lex Luthor still doing good Samaritan duties, saving people from buildings that are falling down, jumping into to rescue them. I don't know who this guy is. It's not Lex Luthor, but I think as long as his memories are not going to be intact, we are going to get this good Alexandra Luthor.
Yes, Alex. Alex is a very good individual. He is not Lex, and I find
Yeah.
that more fun than anything. I know maybe they'll be like, "Oh, you're waiting for the turn." And it's like, yes, eventually he will turn. Don't you worry about that. But let's play in this little sandbox a little bit longer of just like this good, kind-hearted Lex Luthor who's like, "Oh, I would never do such things." I just find that it's a trope. It's a fun trope. I don't
Yeah.
care.
As
But
someone
yeah,
who
bottom line. Sorry, DJ, you can go.
no, go ahead, please finish up.
No. I was just going to say, bottom line, I enjoyed this issue. I still enjoyed Josh Williamson's take on this character, and I don't know how much longer he's still going to be writing for Superman. But yeah, he's got this one on lock, and Dan More's art every single page. This issue was basically a battle scene. It was one long battle scene, and the art just resonated with me through every page. I loved it.
I was just gonna say, as someone who hasn't read Superman in like a long time, just hearing about this issue is like blowing my mind. Lois is Superwoman, Doomsday is a time traveler, Lex is a good guy. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
Superman
lots
comics
happened.
have changed a lot. A lot has gone on since I last tuned in.
A lot's happened. Absolute Power did a lot to this
Yep.
universe.
Yeah, I'm
One
like,
And
one
it,
thing
cool
that
crap.
yeah.
that I think I want to point out is the fact that I think that this Superman run is at the fore of DC Comics right now. And I feel like, similarly to how Green Arrow was pivotal in the Absolute Power
Mm.
running, I think Superman might be pivotal moving forward, and it's going to be tying a lot of ends come the end of what the culmination is going to be between the main line and
Yeah.
Absolute Power.
That makes a lot of
Absolute.
sense because Joshua Williamson and Scott Snyder are
Yeah.
teaming up with this whole all-in initiative with the absolute and the all-in the regular
Yeah.
all-in title. So that makes a lot of sense. Moving on to our indies. We have a good collection of indies this week, TJ. We're starting with Space Ghost. Number 8.
Yes, sir. Number 8. So y'all know if you tune into our show regularly, I love this book. It is so good. We've definitely taken I don't want to say necessarily dramatic turn, but a more serious turn in the last couple issues. Space Ghost. I watched the show as a kid, but like that was forever ago, so I'm not up to date with all the villains. But one of his big bads in this issue, and it's the perfect blend of taking the character seriously while also embracing some of that like cheesiness and campiness. Like the way he talks is like a little like old school but not over the top, and it's just pure superhero fun. Like we read obviously a lot of books, majority of those are superhero, but and this might sound super weird, but this feels like the most superhero book of them all. Like it's just like dude doing heroic stuff, fighting crazy monsters and villains. You got 2 kid sidekicks, a monkey. It's great, dude. It is so good. Again, another one that I highly recommend you pick up. It's a perfect blend of everything you love about comics. I love it.
Yeah, it's definitely the most Saturday morning cartoon
Yes,
compared to like a
exactly.
lot of modern day superhero comics, which you don't get that too much because a lot of them are trying to have an added layer of messaging or character development. This is, like you mentioned, kid sidekicks, monkey sidekick, and you're fighting some monsters and big bads every week with Space Ghost.
Yep,
It's
but it also does have that heart to it though. Like it
Mhm.
does have like a message underneath it, like the underlying
Yes,
plot. But yeah,
yeah,
the spectacle, the fun, it's front and center.
absolutely. Onto our books from Boom Studios. I mentioned we were able to at least get a review copies. Thank you, Boom, because I was able to read this fantastic issue of Minor Arcana. This is my favorite issue so far. This is issue number 4, writer Jeff Lemire, artist Jeff Lemire, and letter Steve Wands. This takes the last 3 issues of Minor Arcana and just kind of like crumples it into one. And now I really see where we're going here. And I think that is fantastic. I really enjoy this book so far. I like Teresa as a character. She's complicated. She is, maybe TJ agrees with me. She's not likable per se, but that's part of the charm is that she snaps back. And there's some pretty serious stuff at the beginning with her and her mom's undergoing chemo and, maybe not taking the best care of herself while going through this because she's just doing her thing. And then you get to see Teresa go through another tarot reading and some weirdness that goes on there. And we're starting to able to just slowly understand what this ability of hers can do. TJ, I know I don't want to see you're up and down on this series so far, but what'd you think about this issue?
Up and down, but sold. This one did it for me. I think, and now that I've read this issue, I kind of see, like you were saying, the kind of grand scheme. And now I really love, I liked the first 3 issues before, but now like I appreciate the pacing now. I can see like how the pacing is whatever. But yeah, I really enjoyed this one. I am definitely going to be keeping up with this too. Like you said before, I was like, I'm not sure about this. I don't dislike it, but I'm not loving it. Again, this one sold me for sure.
This one really, like, again, the first 3 issues kind of they introduce you to the world. They introduce you to Teresa, who, again, like we mentioned, not the most likable person ever, has a bit of an attitude and some personal drama, a lot of baggage, but that's kind of the fun of it. You have these flawed characters who get thrown into these scenarios that they don't actually want to do, and you get to see her go through it. And there's like this weird aspect about it, Jeff Lemire has often said that this is his love letter, his ode to Vertigo comics, and you get a lot of that here. So if you're into those Vertigo comics, the old school ones, like your Sandman universe, for example, yeah, this is up your alley.
I'd say too, the art has grown on me a lot as well. Not that I ever disliked the art, but the style has really grown on me throughout the 4 issues, I'd say.
Yeah, Jeff Lemire's art is, I don't want to say it's not your cookie cutter comic book art.
It's unique,
right?
For sure.
It is
like
not house style.
Yeah,
it is not house style. It is his style, and it works very well in this particular story. And if you're enjoying this, TJ, I really truly think you will love Black Hammer, because that was his ode to superhero comics of his youth, his commentary on it, his tribute to it, and it is excellent. I really think you'll love it if you really enjoy this.
I'm there.
Also from Boom AF, you read this with me. This is In Bloom. I didn't realize when I was reading this until a few pages in that this was actually a story that was introduced in an issue of Boom's horror anthology, Hello Darkness. And I thought that was so cool because there's some panels in here. I'm like, wait a minute, this looks familiar. And I'm like looking back and I'm like, oh my God, this was introduced in the anthology. That's so cool. This is from Michael Conrad, art John Pearson, Lola Bonato, and letter Pat Brousseau. AF, this is a lot of body horror in this, a lot of horror in this, and weird dystopian futures. What'd you think about this?
Lots of questions.
It's the first issue, so yeah.
Yeah. So as I'm going through the pages over here, I'm scratching my head more and more because these people are infected with something called a bloom, and that basically turns them into a type of a flower, half human, half flower hybrid. And yeah, it's weird. It's so weird. Some people want it to happen, some people don't want it to happen. There's a lot of X-Men sort of vibes that I got from a couple of the pages, with the anti-crew and then the people that are actually for it. picketing, rioting, all of those things,
Mhm.
because they view these people as aliens. They view them, they don't know where it comes from. So everybody has all of these different theories about where the bloom actually came from. But yeah, I really hope that, because there's so many different storylines going on throughout the book, and
Yes,
I
it
hope
bounces around a
that,
lot.
yeah, I hope that all of them tie up together in a nice way eventually, because yeah, there were a lot of times when I was thinking, okay, I'm reading something over here and I'm reading something over there, but it doesn't remotely connect at all to me. So yeah, that's the only thing that I hope to see. But yeah, I'm gonna keep on reading this one. I have a lot of questions. I need them to be answered. So my OCD is probably going to force me to keep on reading this.
The creepiest one to me is there's like this aspect of like sending your elder
Yeah.
person to like the afterlife and how it benefits society in the end. And there's this grandma who essentially really doesn't want to be there, but
I
she's
felt
like,
so bad
okay.
for her, dude.
Oh my god. And it gets so for the last page, like
Oh
the art on there is like
no, I
like
felt so bad for her. Shame.
body
Like
horror,
she,
gore are all good stuff. Good stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
And
it's
like
a
she
wild
tried to
book.
pull out at the last moment. She really just tried to like pull out, and they were
Too
like, "Nope,
late.
you can't do that."
Nope.
A bit too late there. Yeah, this is if you're into, I don't want to say Last of Us, but there's a little bit of that in here because of like the fungi, monster, zombie, people aspect of it. But they're not
Yeah.
zombies; they're fully cognitive of it all. It's it's very interesting. It is very interesting. I definitely say go check it out if you're into like horror, body horror, and all that stuff. Last book of the week from Mad Cave. This is a Colin Bunn special. Man, I really dig this book. This is called Hexiles. Colin Bunn creating it, writing it. Artist Joe Baccardo, colorist Manoli Martinez, and letterer El Torres. I think I described this in the first issue. This is the second issue we're talking about. In the first issue, I described it. It's like Demon Umbrella Academy. And this issue, again, continues it. There's some really cool either lettering or paneling that introduces each page because there's a lot of kids like in this family who come from this dad who's dead and made to deal with the devil type of thing. You know, common things, very standard stuff, but their names are written like in the panels, like the panel names are their panel boxes. You'll have to see it to understand. But it's a great way to reintroduce these characters like after a first issue because there's like 8 or 9 or 10 of them. There's a lot. And I don't remember all their names and all the powers that they have, but it's a great way to do it. TJ, you read this? Monsters, gore, demons. What'd you think?
Check, 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 check. We are in the bun business over here. I love Cullen Bunn. I love freaky, weird monsters. Like it's awesome. I love it, even just for like the spectacle of it. Plus, it has a good story.
Yeah.
And like you said, something else I want to highlight as well, just the structure of the book, visual structure of the book. Like you said, the lettering, the paneling, super creative, super engaging. So yeah, I know we're out of we're out of the Halloween season now and going into Christmas, but definitely still pick this up because it is awesome. Like Damon said, demons, body horror, freaky monsters, people with cool powers. I mean, come on, it checks all the boxes. So yeah, I really enjoy this. I can't wait for more. How do you know how many issues this is? Is this
I
ongoing?
don't.
I hope it's
I do
ongoing
not
because I
know. I
love
hope
it.
so too, because it's cool. It's
Yeah.
again, I'll say it again. If you like Umbrella Academy, if you like that idea of found family but kind of forced together because of one single person, yeah, this checks that box. But you also add, horror isn't a year-long thing. It doesn't have to just be reserved for the fall for Halloween. Terrifier 3 takes place during Christmas,
You'll be like
right?
that
It's
dude
okay.
from that book we did last week, and you'll celebrate Halloween every month.
Yes, the Mikey Way book. Um, It's cool, guys. This is a cool book. I highly suggest checking this out. I really enjoyed these first 2 issues. First issue, you kind of bring all of them. They all learn who they are and these powers that they have. And like, whoa, this is weird. And then they all run away. And this is the issue where they're all single off by themselves and realize, we probably need each other now. So I assume in this 3rd issue, they'll all be kind of like, you had something weird happen to you too, right? Type of thing. So go check this out. I really enjoy it. I may, after this book, consider myself a bunhead as well.
Come on, man. Come into the bun business. It's booming. Bun business is booming, dude.
Next week's pulls. I have a lot of books next week. Also not on here, but I can confirm it is out next week. Finally, Lilith number 2. We're finally there, guys. It took a few months, but we did it. Yay. Ooh, what else we got? Ultimate Spider-Man number 12 and Paranoid Gardens number 6 and Nightwing number 121. Paranoid Gardens number 6 is the finale of Paranoid Gardens, the finale of Gerard Way's book. Ooh, just in time for a tour, AF.
I hope so. South Africa is part of the world, My Chemical Romance.
It's true. It's a North American tour. All right, what books you got next week, AF?
I have Spider-Gwen issue 8. So that probably released today at my comic book store, so I can go get that this weekend. And Green Lantern 18. Yeah, I think those are the 2 that I'm probably going to be talking about next week.
Also, Absolute Batman number 3. It's on top for a reason. TJ, what you got?
Obviously, Absolute Batman as well, because we love that. Again, obviously, Ultimate Spidey. But ones that you don't have, I got Captain America number 16, which I have been falling off of, if I'm being honest. I'm like 3-4 issues behind at this point.
Yeah.
But Thor was in the last 2 issues, so I'm hoping that can turn me around on it. And then I got Daredevil, which I have turned around a lot on. I'm enjoying it a lot more now. So that's number 16. And then Ultimate Thor 18 and Wonder Woman 16, which I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but and I have like 3 books on here that I've been kind of lull on lately. Wonder Woman is another one of those. So I'm hoping with these last couple issues I've missed, and especially like we talked about with the all-in stuff, like finally being, established, I'm hoping to be turned back around on it because I love the art. I think the art's awesome. So, but yeah, that's what I got. Not too crazy.
Not too David, crazy. Yeah. Have you found the new Titans run with John Layman?
I have not. We talked to him about it, but I haven't gotten it yet.
I think the story is interesting. The art has completely turned me off on that book.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I am not a fan of the art style of that book. I think that art style would work very well for like a Dr. Fate type book, a Doctor Strange type book, something that deals with like some weirdness. It, to me, a book like Titans would need to have more of like a house style, and it doesn't. That's my biggest critique of that book. One book I will quickly shout out this week, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man number 1 came out. I gave it a quick read. It's fine. It's not blowing me away. The big thing about that book is that it's like your essential prelude into the show that's coming out next month. I do not know. I was going to look into this, and I do not know for certain if the writer of this book worked as a writer on the show. I do not know, but it was pretty basic, pretty straightforward. I think it was just more interesting to see like the little world that they came up with. And honestly, the biggest takeaway from it is Uncle Ben gets brought up a few times, and I can confirm with you this: he is dead.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that panel. That panel was all over my feed. I'm like, where did this come from? And then I was like, oh, there was a prelude comic. Okay, that's cool.
Yep.
It's one of the natural laws of the universe. Uncle Ben has to die. And I know like people are going to be like,
you're Ultimate Spider-Man.
I would say people are going to be like, oh, what about Ultimate Spider-Man? Ben, count your days, because he's not gonna make it.
That
Come
got
on,
dark.
Damon. Come on, you read
Oh
comics
my
just like I do. You
God.
know he's not gonna make it. Come on.
Well, May was supposed to be the one that took over, and for that,
Well, yeah, but come on, Peter can't be happy, dude. Like it's gonna happen for sure.
can
It's
he
gonna
at
happen.
least just be in
I don't
this
make the
one
rules.
universe?
I don't make the
It's
rules,
what makes me
man.
like it.
I love it too. I don't want it to happen. I don't want it, but that's what we're gonna get.
Here's my last question for you, TJ, before we sign off.
Mhm.
If Uncle Ben dies in the Ultimate Universe,
When
how's it happening? No, if, sir,
I
if. How does it happen? How would it happen?
Peter for sure is involved. Spider-Man, I guess, and
Mhm.
J. Jonah is gonna witness it, and that's gonna bring us back to the whole he's a menace type of thing, and probably even a little darker than that, because I'm still in the camp of Ben and JJ got a little bit more going on than just a bro ship. So I think that's where we're headed. It's gonna cause the conflict, you know what I mean? Like, because right now things are too sweet. Things are too like Uncle Ben and Jay Jonah are investigating stuff, writing articles, like it's like fun and all that. Something devastating is gonna happen. I know it.
Has something devastating not already happened? We already lost Aunt May.
But yeah, off page. I'm talking on the page, man.
It's just like, I'm a glass half full guy.
Hey, man, I just read the signs on the wall. Like
Golly.
I said, take it up with Stan, man. I don't make the rules.
I'll say this. If something happens to Uncle Ben, not when, if, it'll be the Green Goblin's fault, and he'll try to
That's
save
another
him.
good one.
And Spider-Man will also be there, because I do agree, like, that whole, like, menace thing would probably come back around. And maybe potentially that voice inside Goblin's head that is his AI, his dad's voice in his head, would push him over the edge. That's if we get to that point. I hope we don't, because we have an entire arc coming up with Craven and his ultimate last hunt. So we have some time to go. Hopefully we don't go that route, but that'll do it for this issue of the Comic Corner. Make sure, as always, you like, subscribe to the Agents of Fandom YouTube channel and our podcasting networks if you'd like to listen to our voices instead of seeing our faces, which it's fine. I know. I have the face for radio. I understand. But as always, make sure you go out, go support your local comic shops, and until next time.